Show me, come on.
You ready?
Come on. So early. Too much Netflix last night. At least it's not dark. At first I thought Cami was showing me her underwear today to try and get my attention. And then I realized she just had her pants on backwards.
Whoops.
Monday morning. Hey, you want this? It's steak. Come out here. Sit. Okay, stay outside now. I feel like I did my good deed for the day.
Uh-oh.
Looks very delicious. Good morning.
Mom.
Hey, 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 Rainier, where's the ball? Oh, there they are.
That'll trick
Hey,
you.
hey,
Okay, no, this
Hey.
is Mom and Dad. You had some already.
hey, can we
But I
show?
give you a banana.
Hey, do you think that maybe you could show how you can jump? Show me, come
You
on.
ready?
Come on. Oh! Good job. Can you do it again? Can you jump? Over here? Yeah, okay. Oh! Boker Tov. Okay, I didn't plan this to explain this to the camera just as you were walking in. Over the weekend, I started writing out the Bible in Hebrew and English. And before I was just doing English, see? So I could cruise through 2 pages a day sometimes. This right here, this starts at chapter 34. This is 3 verses. This took me 3 days, like 3 hours. So I have to like keep track of it here because that's the like Hebrew, then I have to keep track of it here and I lose my place every other word. And then I type every word into Google Translate to try and understand it.
It's really good for you, actually. That's an excellent thing to do.
It's like kind of a pain. And my handwriting sucks. Like look at all these things. They are all over the place.
No, it doesn't. I can read it.
But I ordered a handwriting book.
Yirmiyahu et Adonai ve...
Are you reading that upside down?
Yeah.
My handwriting?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You can read that?
Yeah.
But if we use the money we've been given to partner with God, He will never disappoint. The amount of money never matters, but being a good steward of it always matters.
10, 11, 12, 13.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We give our kids allowance every Sunday. We give them the amount of how old they are. I say we give it to them every Sunday, but I've been known to skip a few Sundays, a lot of Sundays. So sometimes we owe them like 5 allowances. So our process for giving out allowances that you just saw was they read this manifesto. All money belongs to God and is used to honor and worship Him. We are being given this money freely and without obligation. We did not earn it. It is so that we can learn how to spend, save, invest, and give money to love God and other people. We should be constantly learning and growing in how to make wise and generous choices. Money is a tool and will not make us happy or save the world. If we depend on money or the things we buy with it, we will be disappointed as the happiness it promises never comes. But if we use the money we've been given to partner with God, He will never disappoint. The amount of money never matters, but being a good steward of it always matters. This is something that Ben and I believe, and we are imparting this belief to our kids about money. Our kids don't earn the money. We want to actually give this to them freely to be able to learn how to deal with money. We also want to kind of expel some lies that our culture tells us about money, and that it's not gonna make you happy. It's not actually gonna save the world. It's a great tool, but that's all it is. We'll post a link in the description for you guys if you want to take a look at this. Sometimes it's challenging to do it all at once because a couple of our kids are missing, so I gotta remember that I haven't done their allowance yet.
Look what came in the mail today. My only disappointment is that it's not an edged pen instruction. It just acts like you're using a ballpoint pen or a pencil. Okay, today's vlog was kind of like one of those, oh shit days. It's 5 p.m. and we haven't filmed anything. And then I saw Cami doing allowance and it's like, oh, we can film that. But actually it's been something I've been wanting to talk about for a while. So sorry for the clickbaity title, except not sorry, because this is something I'm really passionate about. And I do think there is a way that we're doing allowance wrong. I don't claim that we have the answer, but I want to share what we've done and why we've done it. The main way I hear that allowance is used for children is basically you do your jobs and we pay you money. So it's like an earning-based system. And the idea is you work hard, you get money, you're lazy, you don't get money. And I think there's some truth to that. But I think there's also a dark side to that, and I want to explore that a little bit. The dark side is you're training kids to work for money. And actually, I don't think that's the best reason to work. And I say that from a spiritual perspective. We're actually, like, I think work can be a pleasure in and of itself, creating value in the world. I think it's the first mandate that God gave people from the Bible, which was to fill, form, and subdue the earth. Tim Keller has a whole book on this, which has changed my life. It's called Every Good Endeavor. You can check that if you want to know more about that. But also from an entrepreneurial perspective, people that do the best work on this planet, I don't think actually do it for money. Those are like drones or hourly workers or assembly line people. They work for just money. But the entrepreneurs that are like changing the world in the biggest ways, I think, are doing it because they're doing it to create value or for some deeper reason. And I know these are outlier examples, but the Facebook Mark Zuckerberg example, the Steve Jobs example, you know, like I said, it's not super realistic, but actually these guys, they weren't doing it for dollars. They were doing it, they were being driven by something much deeper. And I'm much more excited to connect my kids to that. So I want to teach them hard work, but I think that's actually like a separate thing from money. And I think we're doing them a disservice by saying, you want money, you got to work for it. You want to work, you get paid for it. Like, no, those aren't always the same thing.
We do the same thing with learning. Learning is tied to money. You learn so you could go to a good college, so you could get a good degree, so you could get a good job, so you can earn money. It's all tied to money.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be tied. Learning is one of those things that I think we're actually created to do, and it's just amazing. So, what we started doing about 5 years ago was trying to create an allowance system that's non-earning based. And you guys will see if you read our manifesto or whatever you saw Cami reading earlier, it reflects why we give kids money, which it's just because we want to, basically. It's really kind of a funny way to see it, but actually, I think it's more accurate to how money works in the real life, which is that most of the money we have is not earned. And let me defend this, for example, because I know it sounds kind of weird. But if you grew up in America, the average American makes like $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year, okay? Now that's a lot higher than someone in Africa. And we didn't make the choice by being born in America. Like, that just happened to us. So you might say, oh, well, I worked hard and I got up early and I studied math and went to school and did this and filled out applications. Okay, that's cool. But the delta from like making $40,000 to $60,000 a year or $60,000 to $100,000 a year doesn't compare with the number of things that were completely outside of our control. So we believe that the biggest things that influence whether we get money or live in an impoverished country or a starving country or war-torn country actually have to do with God and things that He controls, not things that we control. He blesses us and gives us food and peace and safety, and we actually aren't in control of very much when you think about it. Even the talents that we have and the brain that we have, you know, I couldn't control whether I was like brain damaged or like the personality that I had or the parents that I have. Those things were given to me. And when we teach our kids about allowance in this way, by just freely giving them money, I think we're teaching them more about theology and who God is and how the world really is, instead of this whole like, well, if you got there, you earned it. Or if you're not there, it's because you didn't work hard enough and didn't earn it. The other reason why we do allowance the way we do is earning money and working hard is one lesson. But I actually think it's a small lesson, not in that it's not important, but it's just one of 100 lessons. So we want to teach our kids to work hard, probably starting around age 3. Like, when you put the blocks away, put them all away. Don't leave that one there, you know, or even with Rainier, we're working with them like to put all the pencils away. But there's so many more lessons than just that. And I've heard some people say, well, they can't afford allowance. And I know in my heart, emotionally, there was a time where I couldn't afford it because I was like, well, what are kids gonna do with money? Blow it on candy, you know, or something else? But
you can afford a curriculum maybe for your kids, like a math book or a history book. I kind of see it as that.
For our oldest, Dove, who's 16, we give her $16 a week times 52. That's $832 a year. In a way, I look at that and I'm like, dang, that's a lot of money. But when I think about the most important lessons that we want our kids to learn from, you can call it school, or in the time that they live in our household, there's important lessons like making good decisions with money, being a wise saver, being a wise spender, generosity, how to buy gifts for people, how to overcome regret, how to evaluate choices and decisions, how to like buy things for yourself and not feel guilty, but also how to not just completely spend on yourself and go crazy with impulsive decisions. I mean, I could go on and on and on for the types of lessons that we can learn about money, how to give to God, how to find effective ways of using money or foolish ways. I want our kids to learn those things and make a ton of mistakes. I want them to make them, though, with our guidance in the safety of a family. So a lot of people, they go out and they make a $100,000 mistake, either with college or buying a house, or I was making $1 million mistakes. And I feel like some of those things I probably could have learned when I was younger. So when I look at it from that perspective, $800 a year to teach my children that is nothing. I mean, that's like what you drop on a school sport, or people pay that, like you were talking about, for certain hobbies.
Or learning. I mean, if you're a homeschool parent, you buy a lot of like hundreds of dollars worth of books every year.
So this is our curriculum. It's a very natural curriculum. It's a communication tool, which is what I think money is, that communicates value to different people inside of an economy. Dove gets $16 a week, and I love to see how they spend it. It's so fascinating to me, and to watch how they've changed. You know, they've changed so much in how long have we been doing this? 8 years or so?
Yeah, probably about that.
And at first it was so hard for me because I'd watch them like go and like spend all their money on candy. And I was like, that's a terrible decision. But I could tell them that, but it's so much more effective, I think, to watch them conclude that themselves. Mm-hmm. After they do that for 3 weeks or 3 months or even 3 years, and they're like, oh, that's a terrible way to spend money. I'm like, that is a lifelong lesson. Mm. I also love watching how they spend money on each other, and just, I don't know, it's so cool for me to look at money from this lens. Now, the other thing that we do, besides giving money that's unearned, is we charge them, I think, a lot of money. There's pros and cons to this, so I go back and forth on this. But what I see a lot of parents doing is they give money like with strings attached, only if you work, but then they're afraid to kind of like take the money back. We're the opposite right now. We give the money, no strings attached, but then if we see something that we think is costly to us or our family, we charge the children for it. So can you think of some examples? Like I know with Dove right now, if her water bottles for her rabbits run out, I charge her $5 every time I see it because it's really important to me. It was bugging me. Normal reminders weren't working. And I was like, you know, we give you this money to teach you about cost and you might not feel the pain of this, but I think the rabbits feel the pain and I don't like it. So I'm gonna charge you for that.
I got tired of reminding the kids to do their chores every day. So I came up with this system of, if your chores aren't done by 3 o'clock, then for every hour they're not done, you owe me $1. So far it's going pretty good.
You making some money?
I don't think I have yet. I've only had it in place for a few days. And I felt bad for the kids and I reminded them today, but I'm not gonna do that tomorrow. Tomorrow they're on their own.
That cost us $2. But once again, this is not because we want to make money off the kids. We think it's actually one of the best ways for them to learn because in the real world, when you leave your tasks or when you neglect your relationships, it actually does cost people things. So in my mind, one of the best reasons to give your kids money is actually to take it away at the appropriate times so that they feel their influence going away and they feel their buying power and the pleasure that they can buy with cash going away.
And I guess in a way, then they're earning their money, not up front, but by listening to us and doing what we're asking them to do.
I think the main difference is like the starting point. You know, the question is, do we start them off with 0 and then they get it? And then, of course, they can buy things and they lose it. Or do we start them off with abundance, basically? And I think anyone, you know, this is a biblical belief that we have more than we deserve. Like, you should be thankful because God is taking care of you and he loves you. And even from the first story in the garden, you know, a lot of people see it as this mythical, weird, literal thing. But just as a story, it's fascinating. He puts 2 people here and more trees and fruit and variety and companionship than these people could have ever imagined. So I went from seeing God as like someone that likes to kind of torment people and...
Because that's like, we started with that.
Yes.
Like we didn't see, if you believe in that story, like we didn't see the garden and the trees and the abundance and how things were.
But they could lose it. The people could lose it. You know, they lost relationship by breaking the rules that were really important. And it doesn't matter to me if you believe in the Bible or not. That's at least what the Bible says about who God is and our interaction with our decisions. Cool. So that's basically it, you guys, is like, you know, instead of seeing money as something we owe our kids to pay them for work that they do, if we can step back from that as parents and ask for 1 second, what is the best way to teach our kids about money for the lessons or the values that we have? I would just encourage us to start more from there because we have such a short time with our kids. And I think that the best way we could spend that time is to instruct and teach them into some really cool things that they might not learn anywhere else in the world. I thought a cool way to end off this vlog would be to just ask the kids some questions about what they've learned from this experience because, I don't know, it's so much fun for me to hear them talk about it. I'm really blown away, honestly, by their answers. Not because money's really complex, but it's really detached from what I see in society. I think in some good ways. There was this phrase, money is a tool, not a goal. And I think inadvertently, through kind of the learning, attaching value to work or money to work and attaching education to work and money, we create money as the goal, like not on purpose.
Yeah.
But when you take that away, you can actually learn how to use money really well. And you can learn how it works and how it doesn't work and make these observations that you can't when you're really just trying to get more of it. Okay, let's talk to the kids. Right here, Filia. Let's start with you. You don't get an allowance yet. Do you want allowance?
Yeah.
What would you do with your allowance?
I don't know. Buy birthday presents.
How much money do you have right now?
Should I go Brenda?
Sure.
$6.15.
All right, there's your money right there.
I don't know. I'm trying to collect them.
You're what?
What?
Is that all your money?
Yeah.
Where's the rest of it? Do you have more?
No.
What are your plans with this money?
I don't know. Collect some more.
Collect some more. All right, cool. Eden's a little busy cooking dinner right now, but I'm just gonna ask you some questions about money. What are you making, by the way? That looks really good.
A version of that same chicken.
Oh, 2.0. How much money do you have right now?
Like $300.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's the hardest thing for you with money?
I think spending it on things is the hardest for me. Especially, I don't know, I really don't like buying stuff that are for me. Because it just like, I'm like, because I can't really judge other people when I get stuff for them. And when I spend something on me, I'm like, well, I could have like found a cheaper version or whatever, or I could have like just not gotten it and like maybe there's something else.
I know how that feels. What are you planning on doing with your money now?
I've started buying Christmas presents. That's like,
Jeez, couple of months ahead, making us look bad. Do you wish you had more money?
I guess so. I mean, I don't really, yeah, I don't know. Sure, I don't really. I would probably save it and spend it on Christmas presents, and that's probably it.
Did you buy my Christmas present yet?
Nope.
Do you know what it's gonna be?
Well, I have some ideas, but.
Hey, Seven.
Yeah,
Where are you?
in this bed.
How much money do you have right now?
I have like a coin collection, but in like bills, I think I have like $400 or something like that.
What's the most challenging thing for you about dealing with money?
What's the right use for it and what I should spend it on? Like, I want to buy something for myself, but then I want to save it for like presents for people, so it's hard to distribute that and save some for emergencies or something.
What's the most expensive thing you've ever bought?
Probably one of my music machines. It was $350, I think.
What's your biggest regret about buying something?
I don't think I can remember.
Do you wish you had more money?
Not really, not right now.
All right, cool. Thanks. Hey, Dove. Oh, this looks cozy. Look at the cat here. Meows. Oh, hello, little kitty. How much money do you have now?
I have 450.
Now, Dove is in a unique position because she also has a job, so she gets her income from there too, working at the local coffee shop. So we're talking about money on the vlog today. What's the most difficult decision you make with money, or the most difficult thing about money for you?
I don't know, like I go really like to extremes of like not wanting to buy anything to like whatever, like okay, I'm just gonna buy, like I'll just, once I start buying something, like when I'm at the store, I'll just like look for the best and the most expensive and like one and just like okay, whatever, and then just keep on getting like stuff like that. But then I'll go like months without getting really anything except for like presents. I don't know.
Do you have any plans for your money right now?
Yes.
What?
I'm saving it.
Ah, for my Christmas present?
Sure, yeah.
What's your biggest regret of something you've bought or what you've spent?
I remember when I was like memories age, maybe a little younger, I bought a bunch of these mini American Girl dolls because I wanted the big ones, but the big ones were like $100, but the mini ones were like $21 each, but I bought like 5 of them. And then also Webkins. I would get a lot of Webkins. I got like.
Why do you regret that? choice?
I just think it's just like a waste of time and money. Kind of still have them, but I kind of wish I didn't. There's one. There's another one. And there's more. And I actually still have dolls too.
Well, maybe it wasn't a waste if you changed.
Yeah.
I mean, you wanted them then, right?
Yep.
Do you wish that you had more money?
I mean, not really. I mean, not really. No, like, yeah, no.
Do you think if we started paying you to work around the house, you'd want to do more work to get more money?
No. I mean,
Why
I
would you
get
say it like
charged. I get charged for not doing work, and then I get charged. So like, and I get charged a lot for not doing work. So I kind of think like if I had the choice to do work or not, I would probably not do work. Does that make sense?
Sorry to interrupt, kitty cat. You thought about a regret? Go for it.
I bought a bunch of Nerf guns, like, for like 5 months. And we did use them for a while, but then like a month or 2 weeks ago, I got rid of a whole box of them. That was probably like a total of like $300 maybe, so I really regret that now.
Oh, there you are, memory. Okay. How much money do you have right now?
$30.
And what do you usually use your money for?
Like the biggest things I use it for, like Christmas presents or birthday presents. Like I don't really usually buy like humongous and expensive things for myself. I usually just buy like a bunch of little stuff like throughout the week.
Like what?
I buy candy for Shabbat and
Yeah, you buy a lot of candy, right? How much do you think you spend a week on candy?
like $4.
What do you plan on doing with that $30?
I'm gonna save it for Christmas presents probably.
Do you wish that you had more money?
At some point, especially during the holiday season, because I have to pay for Leo's food, and a lot of times they don't have enough.
They just saw Leo. That's the cat.
So, yeah, sometimes.
All right, thank you. I guess that's something I kind of forgot to mention. Besides charging the kids for chores, in giving them allowance, we're also able to pass the cost onto them for some of their regular household items. And we think this helps them learn about making decisions and gives them more autonomy and personal choices. So for example, they have to pay for their pet food. The kids actually buy their own clothes too. I don't know if we even mentioned that detail. All right, there you have it. That's a way to do allowance. But I'd love to hear in the comment section if you guys have any tips or tricks or ways that you guys have found to teach your kids about money, and maybe even tie allowance into that. Let's see some other ideas. But hopefully this gives you some other ideas of what we do and start some conversations.